Week 2's done, Chuck.
Oh, I'm just glad it's finally going.
It is.
Got some good stuff to talk about.
It's been fun to this point. It really has. I mean, it's given us a reason to watch and even more of a fun time. I mean, it's going to be some good football.
We knew it. We knew it was going to be good going in, so it's going to be.
There's been some good shit. Now, the thing about it is that we'll get into it. I mean, this week we're going to go over each conference. We go over each conference's games. We'll hit the top 25. We're going to run into a lot of duplicates because there's very little in-conference games going on right now. So come on in. Let's talk some football. Here we go. And welcome back to the Midnight Riders podcast. I'm Johnny.
I'm Chuck.
It is week 3 or 4 or
3.
They had a -1. They call that first. They call the first one week 0. Why the hell they call it week 0?
It's week 1. Whatever. It's 2 weeks in, and I already got stuff I can bitch about. So let's go.
It's fun.
Where we at?
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's do that. Let's start with the top 25. I'm not going to put it up on the screen. We'll put each conference game on the screen. This I'm not going to put up there simply because I'm pissed. Anybody that loses a non-conference game to a low-level team within the first or second week should not be in the top 25. Agreed?
Agreed.
Why in the hell is Notre Dame in the top 25?
Because they're Notre Dame. Why is Notre Dame 18 and Northern Illinois 25?
They lose to Northern Illinois at home.
When supposedly these rankings don't really matter a whole lot anyway.
And they're ranked 18th.
Mm-hmm. And they're going to say, well,
even their coach said we should not be in the top 25. We need to earn it.
No. Why is Clemson still in the top 25? They already got lost.
Good question.
I mean, still, just the only one I could see realistically still being in there was Michigan, just because they lost to Texas, and unfortunately Texas is real freaking good.
Well, LSU lost a big one too.
LSU lost one.
If you're playing top teams and you lose to a top team and you got one loss, that's okay. But if you lose to a Northern Illinois, hey, great job, Northern Illinois.
They look pretty good.
They stepped up and kicked some ass. I mean, you going to
South Bend, and should they have beat Notre Dame? Who knows? We're going to see what Notre Dame looks like now, because this wasn't a game they were counting on losing.
No.
On a schedule that wasn't extremely easy to begin with.
Well, let me throw the top 5 at you, and I want to see your reaction here. We talked very little about this before we do our cast, just because. Georgia, Texas, Ohio State, Alabama, and Mississippi.
Georgia, Texas, you can't argue.
Right.
Until somebody, honestly, I think there's probably a really good argument for Texas being number 1.
After that kicking they gave Michigan,
you beat Michigan like that at Michigan.
Yeah, I mean it's
Ohio State.
Well, but Michigan's not Michigan.
No,
they retooled completely.
But still, you beat them in Michigan.
True, you beat them in Ann Arbor. It's hard. It's hard. But, Texas got a lot of the same guys.
Yeah,
Michigan has hardly anybody.
Well, I can't really argue a whole lot just because of the ones that are just out of the top 5. I don't see them.
Right.
Missouri, Tennessee, Penn State, Oregon. None of them should have been a top 5 team. I don't think.
No, I
can't really argue.
Well, looking at the top 10, with Missouri, Tennessee, Penn State, Oregon, Miami coming in the top, I'm not a fan of Missouri. Penn State, again, like I said, you've heard me say it 1,000 times. Until they beat somebody worthy, I'm not ever going to say they're a top 10 team. Oregon, let's see.
Oregon hasn't. I mean, Oregon's won, but they haven't impressed. They haven't done what everybody thought they were going to do. Right. So I think they're just kind of lingering there until something happens.
And like I said, so I don't want to put the 25 up here. It's early. It's just week 2. Right. There's no need to go in there and scrutinize it too much. There's not a lot going on. No. I mean, I'm gonna bitch about Notre Dame being in there. I'm gonna complain that
I'm glad to see Nebraska in. It's good to see Nebraska in the top 25.
I love to see them back in there.
We'll talk about it when we get there.
Right.
They got some good stuff going on down there. You threw Northern Illinois in there, which is good. They needed to be.
I was a little upset Georgia Tech lost. I really wanted them to win.
Yeah,
I really after. But then again, Florida State hadn't won yet, so how good of a win was it?
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
but anyway,
Louisville being in there, I don't think they're good enough to be in there.
It's a little early to start bitching about the top 25. Next week we'll start complaining quite a bit because here we go. Who do you want to start with, Chuck?
Oh, let's just start out with the big boys, I guess. Let's start with the SEC and let's just work our way down.
You want to start with the SEC?
Let's just get them going.
Yeah. Alabama at Wisconsin. Alabama's a 16.5-point favorite at Wisconsin. It kind of tells you what Vegas thinks about Wisconsin.
I still may be inclined to put money on Wisconsin. I don't think they're going to win.
Yeah,
man, that's a lot of points at home for a Wisconsin team that's not that bad.
Well, we haven't seen much of them. But, you see a couple of games. You don't. I mean, they're 2-0. Wisconsin is Wisconsin. They're either going to be really good or they're not.
And they got that new offense, which we talked about.
I know.
Trying the new stuff.
Well, and Alabama's pretty new themselves.
Right.
I mean, what's going to happen?
So,
I think this game's going to be worth watching at least the first half to see what's going to happen. What's going to go on. Being in Wisconsin, I agree. I think 16.5 is too much.
I think so,
until I see if this is really Alabama, I'm going to say. Yeah,
I think Bama's going to win.
Yeah.
But
it's a lot of points.
9, 10, I think 10, 12 points.
Yeah, a lot of points.
I wouldn't go, but 16, that's just a lot of points at home. This early in the season when Alabama's not normally a
Alabama, new coach, new system. I don't know.
Yeah. So, I think it'll be a good game.
Moving on down, LSU at South Carolina.
Not South Carolina's 2-0, but.
Well, I mean, LSU's given 7 at South Carolina.
I still don't think so. I haven't been impressed with South Carolina and their 2 wins.
Well,
LSU's got.
South Carolina's another one of those teams that put like, show me something first.
Right.
Show me you can beat somebody, and then I'll start saying you're pretty good. You're a pretty good ball club.
LSU's got a whole lot of athletes.
LSU's. I know that. I know they got that loss.
Yeah, they're going to be right back. They're going to win 2-3 right back to back, and they're going to be right back up there.
Yeah, I agree.
Not an LSU fan at all, but man, I think they're going to be.
I think LSU wins this one on the road, unless South Carolina does something that I don't know about.
Yes. Yes.
So, Boston College and Missouri, 2 ranked teams. Very few of those this week. 2 ranked teams. Boston College has surprised me a little bit.
It's another one. I think that. Maybe I'm wrong. There's a reason I don't do a whole lot of gambling because I'm usually wrong.
That's why I stopped gambling.
But another one at 16.5 points.
A lot of points. Missouri's not.
People just love Missouri, though. Everybody's talking about. I mean, they're good.
Well, I mean, last year I was not a fan. But I never got on the bandwagon, but they just kept winning.
I just think they're at home. I just think that's too many points, but maybe not.
Well,
maybe Boston College had a couple of flukes, but they've looked pretty good so far for who they played.
My thing with Missouri, and I think you might be on the same boat. We're in Big 12 territory here, Big 8 country,
right? And
we saw Missouri for decades, and every time they were getting ready to be that team, they never were that team. So history plays in my brain a little bit. Having them ranked number 6 in the country is only because they're in the SEC.
Because they're in the SEC. If they're in the Big 10 or they're in the Big 12, they're not that.
They're not going to get that ranking. Show me something. Show me something show me something, and I'll believe you. So you win this game, that'll show me a little bit. I mean, Boston College isn't a barn burner, but the thing is, they're ranked at 24.
They beat Florida State. Who knows what Florida State is?
So did Georgia Tech, but still, we'll see. We'll see. I still think Missouri wins this one at home. Will they cover 16? I don't. They got to prove it to me.
Yeah,
they got to prove it to me.
Yeah, and this is a big game for Boston College. You look at the way their schedule lines up.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got Michigan State, Western Kentucky, Virginia Tech, Louisville. I mean, they could. Yeah. They win this game.
Yeah.
They could go on to a 5-6-0 start until they get to that Louisville game. I mean, this is a big game for them.
Well, and they're gonna come in. See, it's gonna be. Is it on national television? No, it's Southeast Conference Network.
That's the SEC. Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. It's gonna be covered well because this is a big game.
No, it's gonna be huge for Boston College. That's why I think they'll cover the spread. I don't see them winning just because it's at Missouri, but
Tulane and Oklahoma.
Oh, you better watch out.
Why do you say that?
Number one, they can't score for whatever reason. They've got injuries that are just mounting and mounting on the receivers and the line, and oh man, and Tulane. I don't know if anybody's watched Tulane. They played Kansas State tough.
Yeah, they did.
They beat Southeast Louisiana.
And so Kansas State's not bad.
No, not at all.
Kansas State's not bad.
Not at all.
We can say that about Kansas State. But OU is OU. I mean, yeah, they were embarrassed last week. Yeah, they won. They did, barely. They should have blown up Houston out. They just blew them off the field. However, I think they're going to come in pissed. I think they're going to...
The good thing about OU is that their defense is playing. If their defense wasn't around, they would be doomed. But Tulane's got a good offense.
Well, what's going to happen here is OU's going to come in with a chip on their shoulder. They're going to come in. They're going to have to prove something. They
better.
They're going to have to prove something to themselves, not just. I mean, you keep winning. It doesn't matter how you win. You win. At the end of the year, you're 12-0.
Right.
Who gives a shit how many points you score?
Exactly.
But the thing is that they need to impress, and I think there was probably a whole lot of ass whipping going on down in Norman this weekend.
Yeah.
And I think they're to come out ready to go. And so I'm curious to see how they do.
All right. Well, I looked at it. There was, of course, down here. There's talk about the game and the struggles of OU and everything, but the big stat that they're talking about down here was they've played 2 games and they've had 4 plays total over 20 yards.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
To where years past you'd have a quarter with 5 plays over 20 yards.
Well, what's shocking to me is you got OU at home against a team in Tulane and they're only 13.5-point favorites.
Yes.
That's not good.
Something.
That's saying something about Tulane, first of all. But it's also saying something about the fact that OU's offense just stinks right now.
Nothing.
There's nothing there. They're going to have to wake up. They're just going to have to wake up.
And they better do it quick because
Tennessee's next week.
It's downhill from me. This is their last this is what they consider their last warm-up, and Tulane's not a warm-up for anybody.
This is the tune-up. They better tune it up this week. So.
Yeah.
Texas A&M at Florida. First, this is a conference game in the SEC, like LSU, South Carolina. It was a conference game. There's another conference game in conference. A&M's brutal. Florida's not much better.
Is it too early to say who gives a shit about Texas A&M and Florida?
Nah, I know.
I mean, come on. It's
unreal.
Why should that game should be huge?
It should be. Florida's still rebuilding, unfortunately. The SEC is so much better. It's so much better when Florida's awesome.
Yes.
And Florida has not been awesome in a while. And
I don't get it. I don't understand.
I still don't understand this line. Again, if I was still gambling, I'd be all over Florida. They're getting 3.5 at home from an A&M team that is not impressive at all. I don't understand that line, but that's why Vegas knows their shit.
Again, and we have to go down the list. There's some other pretty decent sized games going on, but again, Texas A&M and Florida get the main 2:30 ABC game.
Yeah.
Because of their names.
I know.
And that's it. But damn it.
I don't know.
I'm going to watch it.
Yeah, that was interesting. I got to see what happens.
Still.
I think one of these teams. See, here's what's bad. Whoever wins this game, the networks, your ESPNs and whatnot, are going to say what an impressive victory it was, no matter who wins this game.
Yeah.
Because they beat a name and maybe not a good program.
Right.
So that's, again, you'll be hearing me bitch about that the entire season.
Because they've had the same kind of year. They both lost to good teams and they both beat bad teams. So but neither one of them looked very good at all.
No.
So
let's go to next. Alabama, Birmingham at Arkansas. Arkansas had a tough loss last week at Oklahoma State. We'll get into that here in a little bit.
No, I mean I see Arkansas walking away.
Arkansas is really good.
That quarterback they got, I was impressed with him. I really hope they have a good year.
As an Oklahoma State guy that I am, that you all got, everybody knows I was worried. Arkansas is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not saying not just because they almost beat Oklahoma State.
Right.
Arkansas is pretty good.
Right.
They were pretty disciplined. They ran good schemes, and they got good athletes.
Oh yeah.
They're getting better and better and better and better. Again, the SEC is better when Arkansas is good.
Yes.
So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah,
Number 5, Mississippi and Wake Forest. Mississippi, I don't like. and I'm not a Lane Kiffin fan. And
I'm not a Lane Kiffin fan, but
no.
you can't deny. Granted, he hasn't done much yet because of who they play, but man, you gotta give it up to Jackson. Jackson Dart.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah.
He's
I know.
another one OU missed out on.
Well,
but man, he's good.
Well,
That offense is
I mean,
a machine. It is
there
a
again,
machine.
their schedule's pretty good. They have an opportunity to do
Mhm.
well.
Yes.
They really do. They have an opportunity to do well.
Mhm.
And I mean, Wake Forest is not really a challenge for them. But if they blow it at Wake Forest, they've got to win every game they're supposed to win. I mean, they're going in this thing a 22 and a half point favorite. They should just walk all over Wake Forest.
No, it's
But next week they get into conference play.
Mhm.
Are they gonna look ahead? I don't know. I hope not.
Well, because this is the year I think that everybody's been kind of waiting on for Jackson Dart to get a little bit older.
Right.
And everybody is a Lane Kiffin fan. They don't go to the conference play next week, by the way.
Oh, they don't? Who they got?
No, they've got Georgia Southern next week. Then they
right.
jump into Kentucky, South Carolina. So if they take care of business, they're 6-0 going into LSU.
Well, my deal
So there you
about
go.
the SEC is that I don't want Alabama to win it, I don't want LSU to win it, and I don't want Georgia to win it, and I'd really not like to have Texas win it. So Mississippi falls into that everybody but those four category for me. So I'm not a Mississippi fan.
You get down to Vanderbilt, Missouri,
But-
you in Texas.
Yeah. So
Let's
let's move on to Texas. Number 2 team, Texas against Texas San Antonio. There's nothing to say. This will be an absolute massive blowout. Manning might actually get to play a little quarterback.
Oh God, they need to hear about how awesome he is, but yet he can't.
Well,
get on the field.
he's a great quarterback because he plays all of the low-level teams when they're ahead. So
they're gone. It
This
pains me
is-
to say it, but they're as advertised. They got athletes. He
they're
finally got his guys in there, and they're
well, you got a guy in there who finally got their shit together.
right.
I mean, they went through so many coaches trying to find the guy. This is the guy.
The guy. Well, he's got them being
This is the guy.
tougher. The
There
past
you go.
God knows how long.
There you go.
They had no toughness about them at all.
Well, they
That was
had these finesse coaches in
Right.
there that just wanted everybody to be everybody's friend.
Yeah.
And
Deion Sanders.
and that's where I'm thinking.
Yeah.
That's where I'm thinking OU's getting with Venables. It's
Yes.
taking a little time.
Oh yeah. Look at the
Taking a little
defense. Just the defense alone is that.
Right. Now they're mean. So
Mhm.
Vanderbilt at Georgia State. Who cares? I'm sorry, guys. Who cares?
The only good line about this is that Vanderbilt's got a chance to go 3-0.
Darn right they do.
So there you go.
More power to you.
Yep.
Georgia and Kentucky. Another in conference game.
Georgia, what are the 22, 20,
24 and a half.
Georgia. Kentucky's not.
No.
Kentucky's
No,
on the
Kentucky's
on the downward slide.
They showed me a lot last week
yeah.
of what they are, and they ain't much.
So it's
Yeah.
got a feeling this is probably Mark Stoops last year, whether it's going to be his choice, their choice, whatever.
Right.
I think
They need to move.
I think he's done his time there. He needs to move on to
Yeah.
someplace bigger, and they need to do something different. So
New Mexico and Auburn again.
Auburn ought to walk right there.
28 point.
I did a little bit of research just to look at it. New
Yeah.
Mexico's freaking horrible.
Yeah.
They're awful. That's awful.
Toledo at Mississippi State again.
Toledo's
Toledo's
not bad.
They're serviceable.
They got it.
They're serviceable.
If Mississippi State doesn't do what they should do, they can lose this game. I actually think Toledo's got a shot to win this one. I think Toledo's got a shot at an upset on this
Well,
one.
it's only 11 point down.
Yep.
11 point down.
Yep.
And Kent State at Tennessee.
Yeah.
Tennessee
Is that even on the board?
Tennessee 49 and a half.
That may not be enough.
Tennessee is good.
Oh,
Tennessee's good.
their quarterback's really good. Kent State's
Um,
one of the worst teams in the country.
and
This is
Heupel has got his boys ready to roll again.
That quarterback for them may only play a quarter.
Well, he needs. I mean, they got OU. They got
They got
OU
OU
next
the following
week.
week.
Yeah.
He's not going to waste. You talk about wanting to watch somebody who's got a bland playbook. Go watch that game this
Yeah.
weekend. He ain't going to show nothing.
Yeah. Where do you want to go next?
Let's go Big 12. Let's go with some homeboys here.
Well, Arizona State at Texas State.
Yeah, look at that spread.
It's only -1, and that tells you how Arizona State is.
Yep.
Texas State.
Texas State's I mean, we talked about it in our
I know.
pre-show. Texas State
I know.
is not a bad team.
No, they're not
at all. But they've got no business.
I wouldn't think, but Arizona
technically they shouldn't have any business beating a team like that.
But Arizona State's just not. They're just not any good.
No,
they haven't done any good recruiting. They haven't pulled anything off of the portal.
Nope. Because that game's actually going on tonight as we speak.
Oh, it's Friday. It's a Thursday night game.
Yeah, Texas State. So it is Thursday night. By the way, Texas State is up 21-14 going in. 2 minutes left in the first half. So there you go.
Let's move on. UNLV at Kansas. Kansas kind of disappointed me last week.
Yeah. They'll get back on it though. I think they're good. I mean, Illinois. I don't know. Illinois is one of those teams, and we'll talk about that. Illinois is one of those teams you really never know.
You never know. I was really hoping Kansas would be what everybody was talking they'd be like. I wanted Kansas to be one of the top 4 or 5 I wanted them to compete. I wanted them to make other teams better in this I wanted them to be that other team in the conference that
could push.
That was a good loss if you lost to them, or a good win if you beat them.
Right.
That loss last week does not help that cause. But it's a long season. It's a long season.
UNLV's 2-0. They're not very good. So Kansas needs to come out and they need to get a 2-3 touchdown win here and just get back on track. So.
Sure. An in-conference game, Arizona and Kansas State.
That's a Friday night game. That's tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Both ranked.
This is going to be a good football game.
Should be a good game.
It's going to be a good football game. Is Kansas State favored? Yeah, they're favored by 7. Arizona's a good team. Kansas State's a good team. This is going to say a lot of how this season plays out in the Big 12. A lot of folks had Arizona 3rd in the conference.
Yes.
Some of them had them 2nd.
There were some that had them 2nd.
Utah.
Kansas State, I mean, they got BYU and OSU after this.
Yeah, well, Kansas State's got a tough run here. They got a tough run.
But after this game, Arizona goes to Utah. Yeah. And then they got Tech. So things aren't going to get real easy for either one of these teams. So this is a big game.
It's a big game.
It's a big turning point game for these two teams.
It's a big early game, and this will decide which one of these two teams is going to be in the top 4.
Now, I'm glad it's a Friday night game. You can watch it without
any interruptions.
Other bullshit going on.
It's going to be a good game.
It's going to be a good Friday night.
It's going to be a fun one to watch.
I think K-State will win it.
I think Kansas State at home is hard to beat.
I like watching Arizona. Arizona's fun to watch.
Yeah, they are. Kansas State's hard to beat at home. Arizona's they're a fun team. It's going to be a good game. So we'll see if they can cover the 7. Yeah. Cincinnati at Miami of Ohio.
Who gives a shit?
Oh, Cincinnati.
I don't know if we got any Ohio area.
Go Bobcats.
People,
go Bobcats.
Pick a side. I'll cheer for you.
No, they're the Red Hawks. It's the Ohio University.
Yes, Miami.
It's the Bobcats.
What is the spread in? 3.5?
3.5. Cincinnati's actually favored on the road. That tells you how bad Miami of Ohio.
It's not good, Miami.
Texas Tech is hosting North Texas.
Yeah.
Texas Tech better beat them by about 14. They better beat about 2 touchdowns at least. They better beat them by 2 touchdowns.
But North Texas is another one of those teams that.
Yes, they are.
They're known to come up and surprise some people.
But the thing is, if Texas Tech can't beat these guys by 2 touchdowns, then Texas Tech is not Texas Tech.
At home. They got to win that game.
Yeah.
Tech hasn't impressed anybody with anything yet, so they need an impressive win. They need a going away no doubter here.
Yes. Oklahoma State.
There you go.
Struggled with the Razorbacks. Razorbacks were better than I thought. OSU's defense was, unfortunately, just like OSU's defense usually is.
But I think this win's going to turn out to be, I think as the year goes on, that win against Arkansas is going to turn out to be a little bit better win than what people were anticipating.
That's where I was hoping to go.
Yeah.
That's OSU always has trouble with Tulsa, especially when they play in Tulsa. Hopefully they get their shit together this week. They take a deep breath. They get out there. They put some points on the board early and then hold on. Oklahoma State should beat Tulsa. They're 20-point favorite. They should beat them. Tulsa's not very good this year. Come on, Cowboys.
They
take care of business.
They better because they've got Utah.
Yeah.
They got Utah, Kansas State, West Virginia, or Utah and Kansas State back to back after this one. They need to win this game.
Yes.
They have to win it. These next 2 are going to be brutally hard. So yeah, they need to.
Well, Arkansas was a gut check.
No, it was a great game for them to come from behind.
They come from behind, which they rarely do. And that shows me that these kids have got something
Yes.
inside.
Yes.
Now, push with it. You've got it. Now, move forward with that in your pocket. So, West Virginia at Pitt.
Have you watched West Virginia?
Yeah.
Have you seen either one of them?
Yeah.
Not. I mean, their game again. The last week game I don't count. They played Albany.
Right.
It don't matter.
Right.
That game against Penn State, they looked horrible.
Yeah.
At home,
they couldn't do anything.
So I don't know if that's
yeah,
how good Penn State is, which I don't tend to believe, or if it's more of West Virginia's.
I think it's the West Virginia still trying to struggle. West Virginia's still trying to figure out who they are. I mean, again, they had a lot of hype. They're going to be this. They're going to be that. They're going to compete in the Big 12, and they did that week 1.
Right.
Now, granted, it was a tough week 1 game. Tough week 1 game. Pitt is always a problem for West Virginia as well.
Right.
So,
but how good is Pitt? I mean,
they're not that good.
They beat Kent State. They beat Cincinnati by 1. So
I mean, West Virginia's a 2-point favorite at Pittsburgh. So Pittsburgh's not a very good team.
Right.
We'll see. Utah and Utah State. Rivalry. Utah State always plays well against Utah.
Yeah.
Utah's going to blow them out.
I don't see that being an issue this
time. I don't. Utah's good. Utah is good.
Yeah.
Utah State is still trying to figure it out.
The only thing in question is next week they go to OSU. The week after that they play Arizona. So unless they look past Utah State, I don't see this being an issue.
I don't think. It's one of those deals where, Alabama never looks past Auburn. Auburn never looks past Alabama.
Yeah.
OU never looks past OSU. OSU didn't look. It's a rivalry game. And in the state game, they never look past Utah State because they'll sneak up and get them.
Yeah. No, I see Utah winning this one pretty handily, walking away.
Oh yeah.
So
Air Force at Baylor. The poor Bears. I mean, they're 15-point favorites here. And Air Force, I love to watch Air Force play.
I do too.
I like to watch all the service academies.
I watched some of their stuff.
I wish they were better.
Last week, I watched some of them playing San Jose State.
Yeah. I just wish they were a little better.
There's not a lot there. No. Not a lot there.
There's not.
But not saying that Baylor's world beaters. I mean, they got beat by Utah pretty handily. Right. So that was their only real game. Their first game don't count. So we'll see. We'll see. It's good. It'll be a interesting game.
Yeah. In conference, UCF, Central Florida at TCU. Oof.
Honestly, man, Central Florida looked pretty good to me.
Yeah. UCF had a preseason push of they're going to be good.
Right.
TCU, everybody says still rebuilding. UCF, I agree. They looked really good.
I mean, they haven't played it. They played New Hampshire and they played Sam Houston.
Right.
Big deal. But they put 57 up and then 45 up. They did what they're supposed to do.
Correct.
So, I don't know. I'm like you said, the TCU, they beat Stanford by 7.
Yeah.
They shut out Long Island. Again, I didn't know Long Island had a team. But
TCU's it's only a 2.5-point favorite for TCU.
I think it's one of those games. If it was at Florida, I think Florida would be favored.
Conference game. Here we go.
Yeah.
Let's just see who's better.
I think this is truly a toss-up.
Let's just see who's better.
Neither one would surprise me at all.
Colorado at Colorado State, who almost beat them last year, took them to overtime. Come on, Rams.
Man.
Come on, you Rams.
Can we just...
Colorado's a 7-point favorite at Colorado State. Look out. Colorado State lives for this game. This is their Super Bowl. Every year they like this game. Every year they want to win this game because. Even more now that Deion's over there. And last year's game was so close.
And Colorado is a mess right now.
It's a mess. And for Colorado State to go in there and beat them this year would be just wonderful. Just wonderful.
Yeah. I fully believe. I think we talked earlier in the week. I fully believe this is Deion's last year.
Oh yeah.
His kid's going to go. He's going to go with him. Yeah. It's a disaster up there. So
he's just showing he doesn't care. It's all about his kid.
It's propaganda, man.
It's all about his kid.
I just don't get it. And the players are starting to. You're starting to hear things from the players.
Look how many of them left.
Right, and the ones that are left are. And granted, it's kids who left, and there's. Oh man, it's just. it's a shit show.
It is.
So yeah,
Come on, Rams.
I'm hoping Colorado State goes up, and I would love to see like a 31-0 game. That'd just be fitting.
All righty. Well, it's at 6:30 on Saturday on CBS.
That's a CBS game.
Rice at Houston. Last week, before they played OU, I'd say Rice would be favored at Houston, but this week, Houston, I'd say they're probably favored a touchdown. Nope, they're only favored by 4. I take Houston.
I take Houston. OU's defense is really good, and that quarterback didn't do a lot to him, but he did move the ball on them some.
Yeah.
I got Houston.
Houston stepped up. They stepped up and showed something last week, and let's see if they can continue.
Yeah. No.
BYU at Wyoming.
BYU. Wyoming's not very good.
No.
Not what little I've seen. BYU's won their first couple of games. Granted, I mean they beat SMU.
Mm-hmm. SMU's not bad.
Not a bad team at all. So
No.
I got BYU winning that one. I think that should be a late night game. Stay up late and watch it kind of thing. I believe.
Well, it's at Wyoming, so yeah,
Yep,
it's going
that'll
to
be an 8-9 o'clock game here Central.
Yeah, 8 or 9 o'clock.
Yep.
Time, so. All right, well, Big Ten.
Go. Let's go Big Ten.
Central Michigan at Illinois.
Ride that Illinois bandwagon right now. I mean, they won. They're 2-0. They're
right. Well, they're 18
big,
18.5-point favorites. And when's the last time Illinois was 18.5 points over anybody?
Big win last week. So go Illini. Here we go.
Do it. Play until you lose, man.
Get them going.
Now, here's one's interesting. Arkansas State, of course, is not going to get. Michigan's going to be playing them. Now, Michigan's got the big downturn from last week. They went in. Texas went in there and just, slapped them around.
Manhandled them.
Michigan, are they going to be down? Or are they going to
It's
try to
very
get up
possible.
and win this?
They got USC next week.
Well, that's the thing.
So
that's what I'm thinking about.
They're not gearing towards Arkansas State.
Well, you get your ass handed to you on national TV by Texas, and then now you got to play these guys. And the next week you're seeing USC. Oh my God!
Yeah.
I mean, this is the perfect trap game.
This is if I'm Arkansas State.
Well, you
got nothing to lose.
Well, on the gambling side, you're giving 23.5 points. I mean, holy crap!
Yeah,
you're giving 23.5. So.
Michigan.
There's going to be some money put on Arkansas State.
Oh, sure there is.
I mean, Michigan's just
sure there is.
If this coach has got any salt in him at all, he's going to slap these kids around and say, "You don't look past this game.
You better look ahead. You better not
don't
get caught
look
ahead.
past this. No.
What is this?
Don't look past this game."
Yeah.
So
it's going to be interesting to watch and see how they react.
Yeah.
How they come alive or they die out in the field.
Exactly. Alabama, Wisconsin. We already visited about that one a little bit. Poor Badgers. Michigan State plays Prairie View A&M.
It's Prairie View A&M. They make a lot of money every year.
They do. Well, I mean, this is one of those.
They keep their programs going.
There's not even a line on this one. This is one of those. Michigan State, I mean, they're not great.
And Michigan State's not that good.
They're not barn burners, but we'll see. I mean, Minnesota is at home against Nevada.
Should be a walk away from Minnesota. Not a lot to talk about there.
No, Nevada's not bad, but they're not. I mean, they're not of the level of any Big Ten team.
No.
This next one's interesting to me.
Which one is that?
Notre Dame
Purdue.
At Purdue. Now, Purdue is one of those teams every year that that they can sneak up on anybody at any time.
Yeah,
they've always been that team. They're never supposed to be really good, but boy, if you turn your head the wrong way, they're going to sneak up on you.
What's 10 points? Only 10 points.
Notre Dame is a 10-point favorite on the road after getting their ass handed to them at home by Northern Illinois. So here we go. Can they come back and win on the road against a Purdue team that's going to be looking for blood, just because they think they got Notre Dame on the rope? So let's go get them. I mean, I wouldn't put any money on them.
No. Well, the over/under is 45, so they're not. I mean, if they keep this a low-scoring game, Purdue's only played one game, so nobody really knows how good, bad, or whatever they are. So they better be careful. I would love to see Purdue.
Oh, sure.
Knock them down another tier.
And, sure. Get them out of the top 20. Well, they'll probably put them to number
24.
25. Because so ESPN can keep them in the line.
Oh, man. I I would not be surprised to see Purdue win that game. At all.
I'm going to be pulling for them.
Yep.
Let's just Oregon State, another one of those rivalry week games. Oregon State always tries hard, but bless their hearts, they can't beat Oregon. They just can't beat Oregon.
The spread's 16.5.
Yeah.
I think Oregon will win it. I don't know if they'll cover.
Well,
They got kind of not as bad, but they got kind of the same OU thing going on.
Right.
They have yet to really put it all together.
They have, but this again, rivalry games tend to wake you up. And this is a big one. Oregon State's a big one. This is an embarrassing game. We will not lose to Oregon
You
State.
can't lose this game.
We will not lose to Oregon State. So I think that plays in Oregon's favor. I got Oregon winning. I actually think Oregon might cover this one. I think they're going to go in just with a chip on their shoulder, just beat the shit out of these guys if they can.
I mean, look at Oregon's 2 games: 24-14 over Idaho and 37-34 over Boise.
Right, which makes me wonder why the spread's even 16.5
Right.
on the road. Oregon State, I don't know. I just don't know. We'll see. The rivalries always make it fun. I think Oregon's going to come in just balls to the wall and try to just blow these guys out. Oregon State does not want to lose to Oregon. They never do. So
Right.
It's going to be fun to watch.
That'll be a good game.
Washington's at home against Washington State.
I think other than the Alabama-Wisconsin game, this will probably be, my opinion, the best game in the Big Ten this weekend.
Think so?
Yeah, I'm looking for it. I think it's a pretty evenly matched game.
Yeah.
With how they've shown up so far, anyway.
Well, I mean, Washington State's
one of those teams. Ever since Leach coached there, I've always wanted them to do well.
Well, Washington State's one of those teams that how they got left behind, I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, I really thought somebody would. I mean, I don't know.
They just don't.
Why? I know why the ACC would take Stanford. I get it. They took Cal because it's a Stanford rival. I get that. But I don't know. Washington State's a good program.
Washington State has
always been a good.
Washington State has always reminded me of Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
Always been good. Always been good in multiple sports. Always there, but they were always in the shadow of
Washington,
OU, and Washington.
Always.
And I would love to see Washington State jump up. I think Washington State can actually, even though it's at Washington, I think Washington State home field don't really matter. On this game.
Washington they're rebuilding. They're retooling.
Yep.
If they're going to beat them, this is the year.
Yes. No, I really hope they do. I think they got a legitimate shot. I really hope they pull this one off.
Iowa at home against Troy. Yeah, who cares?
I was scoring some points this year, and they're still boring as hell to watch. So.
Yeah, they've always been boring. Northern Iowa goes to Nebraska. Now, Nebraska's. I don't have a line on this one.
I don't think that hit the board.
No, probably not. I mean, they're a Division II school, so I mean,
I'm going to be interested in this to see the highlights because of course we're not going to get that game here.
I want Nebraska to really roll.
That quarterback, Jalen Ryle. I mean, he is.
He
has shown up to be the real deal, man.
I'd love to see him roll and just prove that they're better. The Colorado whooping wasn't just a fluke. I want Nebraska to be good again. I really do. So
they need to go out and
come on, Huskers.
I mean, they've got Northern Iowa, then they got Illinois at home, then they got Purdue, then they got Rutgers, then they got Indiana.
See, that's 4 more wins right there. They win this.
They could be 7-0 going into Ohio State.
Yes,
that's what I want.
That's where we want to be.
That would be great. I'd love to see Nebraska back in the limelight. That's great.
Northwestern plays at home against Eastern Illinois. Who cares? UCLA's at home against Indiana.
UCLA should. Well, I don't know.
Another conference game.
UCLA had that travel out to Hawaii, but.
Right.
We talked about that. You travel to Hawaii, you don't know what the hell you're going to get.
Now you got to come back and play at home, but you're at home. They're only a 3-point favorite.
Yeah.
Indiana's not a world beater, and UCLA's not either.
No, Indiana's favorite.
Yeah, they are.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's no respect for UCLA right now. Not until they prove something after that Hawaii showing.
Right.
They got to show something. So.
And Maryland goes to Virginia.
I think that.
Again.
I think Maryland goes into Virginia and wins that game. So
lower part of the bracket, lower part of the conference. Not a whole lot of care out there. Let's go to the ACC. Florida State. Memphis gets to play Florida State, and how Florida State is a touchdown favorite against anybody is beyond me. Memphis is not a bad team, guys.
No, they're not.
Memphis is not bad. They're going into
I mean-
Florida State. Florida State's a 6.5-point favorite. The over/under is set at 51, which tells you nobody has the defense. So my golly, what are we going to do here?
Memphis beat North Alabama 40-0 and beat Troy 38-17.
Yeah.
Granted, not good teams, but neither is Florida State.
No, they lost to Georgia Tech, and then they lost to
Who did they lose to?
last week
Oh,
Boston
Boston College.
Yeah.
Yep. They.
So I mean,
I tell you what, if they don't win this game,
there's going to be
Ooh,
heads are
baby.
going to roll. Heads are going to roll.
I mean, they should have started out this season because they got California next, then SMU, then Clemson. They realistically should have started out 5-0 without a problem. Now they're struggling to see if they can get a damn win.
Yeah, and
This-
and it's
That's what's going to be fun to watch this one. And I think this is I think this is one of the early ESPN games. I think. Yeah.
well,
for
see,
some reason.
Well, because Memphis is not bad.
Yeah.
Memphis isn't bad.
If people want to watch Florida State.
And they lose another one, they're going to be, and they're out there screaming about we need more money for our TV contract and we need to do this.
Yeah.
Well, okay, prove it.
go beat somebody.
They and Clemson are screaming the same thing, and Clemson can't beat anybody either. So I mean, I don't know. It's going to be fun. North Carolina State's at Louisiana Tech.
That should be a no-brainer. North Carolina State's not bad.
No, 22-point favorite. They're not bad. They're playing at home. Should just they should win.
Yeah.
I mean,
they should be.
you got
Louisiana Tech's not.
Boston College and Missouri, we already talked about. VMI against Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech will probably come back and get this. Be the 3-1 when they win this one. Georgia Tech having a good year.
This is the game. They got to win these games.
Yeah.
So they pulled off the one up, what we think is an upset.
Right.
Now they got to win these games that they should win.
Yeah. To make it look like they're real.
They're finally coming back.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Make
So
it look like they're real. I mean, last week who'd they play last week?
Tech.
Yeah. They lost.
Who did they play last week? That's a good question. And if my internet connection out here was a little bit better, I could tell you a little quicker.
Hell. See, my brain is just dead right now. That's why we try not to do these too late at night because I can't think after a certain time of the night.
Georgia Tech. We had. You want to find it before me?
No, I don't know.
No, they beat Georgia State last week. And then they got, that was 2 weeks ago. Sorry, they got beat by Syracuse, 31-28.
Yeah, Syracuse, which shocked me.
Yeah.
Syracuse ain't great.
Yeah. No.
But they were doing
That's what I mean, though. They need to win this game.
They need to win this.
They got VMI, then they got, because the next week they got Louisville. So they need to win this game to boost them.
Well, to stay relevant.
Yes.
Relevant. Ball State at Miami. Okay. That's a massacre.
Ass kicking.
Yeah. West Virginia and Pitt, we already talked about. Connecticut against Duke.
Duke should walk away with that.
North Carolina Central at North Carolina. Again, North Carolina is not as good as they have been.
No, but
they're
they're playing North Carolina Central, so
Yeah,
it really
walk away with that. Virginia Tech will beat Old Dominion.
Yeah.
Mississippi at Wake Forest, we already talked about. Maryland at Virginia. I mean, Virginia's played fairly well. The teams they've played, I mean, nothing major, nothing big. The only 2-point favorite against Maryland,
Yeah.
I think. They'll probably win this.
It's kind of a dog week for the ACC,
Yeah.
with the exception of the Boston College Missouri game.
Yeah, San Diego State at Cal,
San Diego State's got the talk of going to the Pac-12, so
Right.
they got a little bit of talk about them, but that game's not going to be
A lot of these games coming up in the group of 5 conferences we've already talked about because there's very few in-conference games going on. If we look over at the American Athletic, I mean, we've already talked about everybody. Florida
Temple.
State, Memphis has got Florida State, Tulsa's got Oklahoma State. I mean, Houston is Rice, Texas and UTSA. I mean,
You got your Tulane, Oklahoma, East Carolina, Appalachian State. Should be
Right.
a good game.
Should
for
be.
the conference.
should be.
I
I mean, but then really can't start talking about the group of 5 until they get into conference. I mean, a lot of the games they play right now are against the big schools, and they're not going to be favored. It's going to be rare for them to win one.
I'll tell you what, this game here, the Mountain West, Hawaii's got Sam Houston. If Hawaii, after pulling off that win over UCLA, that they weren't favored to, Hawaii's got a chance to pull off 5, 6, 7 wins. Maybe,
Yeah, they do.
and get somewhere. So
Yeah, they do.
kind of hope they pull something off.
Well, Mid-America Conference, we've already talked about all those games because they're all playing big schools.
Yep.
There's not any in-conference going on there.
Akron's playing Colgate.
Yeah. Now, the Conference USA, UTEP will play Liberty. That's an in-conference game. It's one of the, Liberty should walk this conference because everybody they play, they're better than. But if UTEP, they're going to play in conference this week. UTEP will go to Liberty. Western Kentucky will go to Middle Tennessee. Start some in-conference play in Conference USA.
Yep.
And the Sun Belt, I think there's none of those. They're all playing big schools.
Yeah, well, the South Alabama game is nothing. They got a couple dogs there, but yeah, there's nothing. They're on their money making tour mostly college.
As we continue throughout the year, we're going to hit every conference. We're going to have, because once conference play starts,
once we get into conference play,
we'll be able to go in there, start evaluating on a weekly basis which teams are going to be looking good for the each conference victory or loss or whatever. So, any big surprises to you in the first couple of weeks of the season, other than the Florida State debacle?
Florida State,
Notre Dame getting their ass handed to them?
Notre Dame's been the big one. Michigan, Michigan. I guess it really surprised me is that they lost to Texas.
Right.
But it did surprise me that they never had a damn prayer against Texas.
Yeah.
And
well, it just shows me how much they lost. How many people they lost.
How much it hurt.
Or I thought Oregon lost as much as Michigan did, but they haven't shown that they have. They're still competing at a higher level than Michigan.
Right. But they haven't played at Texas yet either.
Right.
So,
right.
That's a little bit of a surprise. OU has been a surprise the other direction.
Yeah.
Not anywhere near as good
as we'll get this third preliminary week out of the way.
Right.
And then we can start moving into conference play. Then we'll see who's made of what. Because the conference schedule will start, and even though you may be playing a lower level team in the SEC or the Big 12 or the Big 10 or whatever, you're still playing playing a higher level team than a Middle Tennessee, or a Tulane. You're still playing that next level up, and we'll be able to tell just a little bit better.
And the games matter more this year. The playoff system it is. You no longer take that week 2 loss and think, well, screw it. We'll just play it out and see what happens. Now these games matter. You can go 2, 3. You may get a 3-loss team in the bottom half of the. You never know. You got to go.
Well, you could theoretically the way the games have been played so far. If you just look 2 or 3 weeks in, you could have a 3-loss team win the Big 12 or win the ACC.
Very possible.
You really could.
Yeah, very possible.
Because these teams are going to start beating each other up,
especially in the ACC.
Yeah.
Oh man.
They're going to start beating each other up as you go. Then you may have a 2-loss team playing a 3-loss team for the title.
Right.
And then that 3-loss team wins. Well, if you got a 3-loss team who's getting a 4th seed.
Yeah.
And that's cool. I love that shit.
No,
that's
great.
Fantastic.
It's great. We've wanted it for a long time.
Yeah. And so, you can't stop playing now. You can't stop.
No, this is going to make the games at the end of October and end of November, it's still going to make them mean something.
Well, they're all relevant now. So, anybody that's got – because it's truly down to how good you are in your conference.
Yes,
finally. Your conference wins matter.
Yes.
Finally. That's why that shit that happened with the Pac-12 today. They pulled in Boise, they pulled in Utah State, they pulled in San Diego State and Colorado State. They pulled in 4 from the Mountain West, so there's 6.
So they're going to
now. What are they going to do?
Yeah, so
they're going to go get 6 more teams at least to be 12 again. Now, number 1, will ESPN let them into the group of 5? Will they become a new top tier conference? Will they get an automatic bid? If they pull enough teams in there to make a conference, are they going to be considered a group of 6, or are they going to be considered one of the Big 5 again? I don't know.
See, I don't know if they can make them a group of 6 when you got Washington State and Oregon State, who's always been part of that big group. I don't know.
Well, that's the interesting part to me. I mean, Florida State's been looking to get the hell out of the ACC. Clemson wants to get out of the ACC. If you pull both of those out, and that for some unknown reason they want to go play in the Pac-12 because they can probably win it every year, you pull them over there. Okay, now you've got 8 teams, 2 of which are Florida State, Clemson, Boise, who always seems to play
Boise
well.
State's always good.
So you've got all of this opportunity here for them to become another major conference and maybe get an automatic bid. I don't know.
That's what they plan to do. Like you said, it's sad that you can say what you want, but it's going to have to get the approval from ESPN. once it's all said and done.
ESPN, NCAA, whatever you want to call them
whatever
these
you wanna
days.
call 'em. That's what it is.
One way or the other, they're going to have to get the approval to be considered another Big Five conference.
Right.
Or
But it's gonna,
a group of 5 conference.
But
you got to see which one you
right.
want.
But it would be good for them to get a Clemson and a Florida State for the same reason the Big Ten got the California schools.
Sure.
Now you're on at different times. You're in different time zones.
Sure, you can recruit anywhere now. You
Yeah.
know, you can. I mean, you got USC and UCLA teams that are going to start recruiting in Big Ten territory.
Yes.
They're going to start. These kids that are playing in, Illinois and Michigan and Wisconsin and Iowa, they're actually going to be able to, shit, I can go play for USC.
Yeah, I can play USC. And be seen on TV. And they're out here all the time.
Well, I mean, you look at the Big Ten; they're all over the country now. The Big 12, they're all over the country. The ACC, they're all over the country. Why not let the Pac-12 get all over the country?
No, it's nothing different. It's no different than, like you said, Oregon traveling to Rutgers.
Sure.
What the hell's the difference?
Sure.
That's farthest way you can freaking get.
That's exactly right.
What's the difference between going to Clemson, South Carolina, playing in Washington State?
Yeah.
The difference doesn't make.
Exactly. So, that's where we're at. We wanted to give you a quick update for Week 3 coming up, and we will get back and give you some results and see what happened after the week's games are after they're all done.
And if you have, talking about it, if you got a favorite conference or something like that you really want us to go dive a little deeper into, throw it out there. Put a comment out there.
Bring it down.
We'll even dig a little deeper, and instead of hitting the high notes, we'll go dig deeper into it if you want us to.
Yeah, we'll let you know what we can find out. So we love going after extra information.
Yep.
So, but anyway, we do appreciate you coming in. Subscribe, like, share, comment, etc., etc., etc. Spread the word. We want to get this out to as many people as we can, so we can both quit our day jobs.
God, that'd be awesome. I'm running out of time for that, so it's
That's serious. We want to quit our day jobs.
We want to pick up the pace a little
To
bit.
do that, though, we have to have a million subscribers, so we're a few behind. Let's go.
Yeah.
That's your job.
It's either that or there's that thing on Facebook can get people to give you money.
Ooh, I like that.
That's my next one.
We can do that.
So
I can beg.
there you go.
Not beneath me. Appreciate you coming in. We'll see you next time. Have a good weekend.
Enjoy the football.
Later.